Hello and welcome. As with any day one in service training, introductions are mandatory and painful for everyone. That being said, you were lucky. I'm not going to ask you to get up and mingle. You are, however, welcome to introduce yourself down in the comments. And should you find this video interesting, please like and subscribe. There will be more coming. To introduce myself, my name is Stephanie Lynn. I have been teaching for over 20 years. I teach middle school science. I have tried to retire 2 times prior to this year. This will be my last year teaching. I am retiring, and I'm leaving because I hate teaching. Let me rephrase that. I hate what teaching has become. I love my students. I love my students. I love my colleagues. They're amazing. I love the community and the school. I love my topic. I teach middle school science. How awesome is that? Best topic. But teaching has changed over the past decades that I've been teaching, but especially in the last 10 years. The last 5 years have brought an extreme change. And my mindset is just not conducive to the classroom anymore. And so it's time for me to leave. Which brings me to why I'm making these videos. It is actually my hope that I can help other teachers avoid falling into the mindset that I have. I plan on venting about all the things that really piss me off. What is wrong with the educational system at this point in time? And maybe some of the things that I say will resonate, and you'll know that you're not alone. You know that there are other teachers out there feeling the same way you are, experiencing the same things you are. And hopefully that gives you strength to continue, because it is a shame that there is such a teacher shortage. There should not be a teacher shortage, but there is. And teachers are still leaving the classroom at unbelievably high rates. Experienced teachers and new teachers, brand new teachers, are getting burned out within a couple of years. Okay, I lasted over 20 years. And you have other people who within 2 or 3 just can't do it anymore. And it doesn't mean they're not good teachers. Like I said, there's something wrong with the educational system. And I am hoping that as I wax poetic over the following videos, somebody can get a nugget of strength out of them. I'll be talking about stress, paperwork, standardized testing, expectations from your students, the parents, the admin, yourself. Dreams versus reality. All of these will come into it. Okay. And there is a bright spot. There's actually several bright spots. But one of the bright spots is there are a lot of people who are changing careers to get into teaching. They have had successful careers in other businesses. They know their subjects very well. There is, however, a problem with this. A lot of the teacher training programs that they've gone through are expedited. They gloss over some of the more basic materials. They're heavy into theory, and there is a little bit of student contact. Some of them do have a semester of teaching, but they are really not prepared for what happens when you enter a classroom. And honestly, even after getting a 4-year degree, a new teacher is not prepared for what happens when they are given their own classes. And I don't think many new teachers understand that. They go in thinking they should be able to do all of this stuff. And I'm here to tell you no. You will learn, and you will make mistakes. and you will continue to make mistakes. And something that worked earlier is not going to work the next time you do it. And that is okay. Everyone's been there. Everyone has done that. It's not you, okay? That's just how it works. So the new teachers, when they enter teaching, you have the joy and excitement. You're ready to go out there and change the world. You want to be that teacher that a student remembers 50 years down the road and is telling their grandkids about. This person made a difference in my life. Okay, those are awesome feelings. What you didn't expect was the abject terror when you're standing in front of a classroom and they're expecting you to do something. The fear of failure. Again, when a lesson doesn't work. It might have worked for that class on a different day. It might work for the class that you have right after that. Every personality is different. Okay? And you need to recognize that you will have wonderful planned lessons that flop. Just thud. It happens. And it doesn't mean it wasn't a good lesson. And it doesn't mean at another time it wouldn't be the perfect lesson. Okay? You need to give yourself some grace. And, I definitely will be talking about that. In the coming videos, I will talk about my experiences. I will tell stories about things that have happened to me, other people's experiences as well. It will be within the science realm because that's what I taught. So that's what I know best. That doesn't mean that there's not information in these videos for teachers in other topics, in other subjects. I'm just putting it in a perspective of what I understand. And, I love science, and so I'm a little protective of it. But teaching science is a little, I feel, different than other topics. In secondary school, you get 7 through 12 certification. Okay. There is a difference in that you may have graduated with a bachelor's in biology and you get your teacher certification and you end up teaching 11th grade physics. While in undergrad school, you took 2 semesters, maybe only 1. Okay, and yet you were teaching it. And that really is a huge stress on new teachers or experienced teachers who are now changing subject. And the closest I can come to kind of this comparison is in elementary school, where you've been teaching 3rd grade for years and you walk in and, they've moved your classroom and you're now teaching, 1st grade, the littles. And if you are an elementary school teacher, I have such respect for you. I could not have the same kids all day long. Middle school and high school, you look at the clock and those kids are gone in an hour. It's like, I can make it through an hour. Elementary school, if they go away to art, they're coming back. Yeah, I have so much respect for those of you who teach the littles. I could not do it. So, very, very impressed. Keep it up. I actually have taught kindergarten through 1st year college. But the K through 5 students I taught STEM. They came to my classroom and I taught them and then they left and went back to their, homerooms. I have taught, like I said, middle school science, which is earth and space science, life science, physical science. So intro chemistry, intro physics. I have taught high school biology, high school chemistry, environmental science, AP chemistry, IB biology, a full spectrum of stuff, physics. high school physics, if I didn't say that. So I am a jack of all trades, master of none. And I think that I can help. I am going to spend some videos talking about tips and tricks that I have learned to teach certain topics that seem to be difficult for teachers who don't have background in that science. Okay. I am a traditional teacher. Okay. I am old school. I lecture, we do worksheets, we do labs. I am not into the warm and fuzzy groupings where students teach themselves and I wander around and talk to them. I've never been able to do that. And if you can, again, more power to you. It's just not my style. I am hoping that, in these videos, someone can find nuggets that will help them get through the next day, the next week, the next semester, and ending up the year with enough energy and desire to sign that contract and come back again. Because that's what the students need. Consistency is what the students need. And hopefully I can help somebody with that goal. Okay, those of you staying in the teaching profession, you have my full respect. Like I said, I am not in the mindset to continue teaching, and my students deserve better than that. So, good luck, hang in there, and, welcome along on this journey. I'll see you next time.